Hello there, fellow viewers. Hope you're having a great weekend. Well, thank you very much for joining us on yet another edition of The Diary on STV. It's always a pleasure to be in your company. Well, today's subject is one that concerns mothers and soon-to-be mothers. You know, when you're preparing to welcome your little one into this world, one thing you must prepare for as well is breastfeeding. Now, researchers will tell you that it is beneficial for the mother and for the baby. But what should you know about breastfeeding? That's what we're talking about in this edition of The Diary. Don't go away. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching The Diary on STV, and our subject for today is one that concerns women's health. It's breastfeeding. That is why on set with me, I have three beautiful women, mothers, and wives who are going to be sharing their experiences with you and with me here on the show today. Let me begin with the person sitting closest to me, someone you've seen on the show before. Renangu Nje is her name. She's a fitness coach and also an entrepreneur. But of course, before all of that, she's a wife and she's a mother. Hello, Rena. It's good to have you back on The Diary.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here.
It's great to hear that. Well, someone you'll be meeting for the first time on the show, I'm hoping it's the first of many more times to come. Achu Melvis. She's an entrepreneur, also a wife and a mother. Melvis, welcome.
Thank you, Manda, and I must say it's a pleasure to be here.
Great. And I'm also very happy to be receiving once more Madame Salomon Jatsa Zemge Epus Camden. She's going to be our specialist for today. She's a reproductive health specialist. She's a midwife, a nurse at the Mbopi Baptist Hospital. Madame Camden, always great to have you on the show.
It is a pleasure. Thank you, Amanda, for inviting me.
Right. So we're going to jump into our subject for the day, breastfeeding. Now, it might seem like a really very simple subject, but while I was doing some research, I discovered that there's so much that mothers already, mothers can learn from the subject today, and I'm hoping that is going to be the case. Let's start with the basics, and we cannot talk about it without defining, giving a general and a simple definition to breastfeeding. Madam Camden, you are a specialist. What is breastfeeding?
Okay, thank you, Manda. Breastfeeding, in the simple term, is just a process of feeding her baby through the breast.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Right, so it's that simple. Everybody understands what breastfeeding is, what it is. Now, Rena, let me come to you. What has been your experience? You have a beautiful baby who is 9 months?
9 months.
Nine months old.
Few weeks.
Great.
Old.
So what was the experience of breastfeeding like for you? Because I learned that you already weaned the baby.
Yes. It was a wonderful one. Yeah, it was wonderful in the sense that it helped me to bond with my daughter. Mm-hmm. Even when I was about to wean her, I felt like I was going to be detached from her, because each time you hold your child and you breastfeed her, look at your child in the eyes, and it's satisfying. It's so satisfying. So yeah, I would say it was a wonderful feeling. It was a wonderful experience, and I would love to do it again. I actually exclusively breastfed her for 6 months, and supplemented after 6 months. So it was it was quite an experience, because sometimes you end up with certain issues with your breast, especially when she is not eating well. Mm-hmm. But I think we'll come back to that in a few minutes. But yeah, it was a wonderful experience.
Right. And Melvis, I imagine you would say the same thing.
I know. Like, I want to say it was really, really exciting, because I'm from a family where I have sisters who have had kids. Mm-hmm. And like every other woman, it's something I've been looking forward to, like growing up, like little girls. When you're playing, you always have this experience. If you have a teddy bear, seeing your mom's breastfeed, you just want to feel like a woman. And as a young girl, you carry your teddy and you're trying to, imitate your mom. So seeing motherhood was something I was looking forward to. Breastfeeding to me was a very, very exciting, and just like Rena said, a very, very bonding experience with my daughter. They have this way of looking at you eyeball to eyeball when they're breastfeeding. It's just so magical, you cannot explain. You just feel like you're out of the world.
Wow. Now, in spite of how amazing this sounds, some of you might be surprised that some women choose not to breastfeed. Now, it's a choice, Madam Camden, or so I read. You are the specialist. Tell us about it.
Nanda, is true that it's a choice, but we need to make our women, our ladies, to understand that breastfeeding is the best option to feed her baby. So now it will depend. You go case by case. It depends. The reason why you don't want to breastfeed your child. But I want to say that the best option is breastfeeding, because there are many advantages behind that the formula does not have.
So let's talk about this, the benefits. Let's talk about the importance of breastfeeding. How important is it?
Scientifically, we are going to talk about the first immunization of the baby.
Okay.
It comes from the breast milk. When the baby is breastfeeding, it's getting from the mother the white blood cell, the antibodies. These are this is what is going to protect the baby until the moment that his body will be ready to make up his own antibodies. So during breastfeeding, the baby is going to take the antibodies from the breast milk, from the mother. So this is one of the advantages. The other advantages is that when you breastfeed your child, you have that, the baby comes closer to you. You have that attachment to your baby, you know. You have that connection to your baby. And that is very important for a mother. Because if you see a baby that have not been breastfed by the mother, you see that actually the baby does not really recognize the mother. So that is another advantage. When you breastfeed your child through the breast milk, you have that connection. It's something very essential for the mother.
Yeah.
As the 1 hour before after delivery, that first contact with your baby through the breast milk, through breastfeeding, is very important. So apart of that, you have other advantages like economically. That is free. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to spend anything. The breast milk is just there. You give to the baby on demand. You don't have to go and wash maybe the cup feeding. You don't have to buy any milk. It's just there. You give at the baby as he wants.
Right.
These are just some few advantages behind breastfeeding. I'm
sure we'll discover much more in the course of the show. So you want to continue watching. Now, we are going to continue discussing this subject. Before I go back to Madam Camden on the right method, I wanted to find out, and I'm sure the ladies out there would like to learn as well, is there a method? Is there a particular way? Or, you know, the minute the nipples enter the baby's mouth, that's it. Is that how it's done? Because I've heard a lot of women saying, this person said not to do it like this, my mother said to do it like this, my auntie said to do it like this, do not put the baby, the nipple in the baby's mouth, it's going to deform the baby's mouth. Did you have any of those, or it just came natural, you know, the right way of holding the baby and breastfeeding the baby? Rena, let me start with you.
Well, I have a friend who has 3 kids already, Sonia in Yaoundé, and she's experienced it. Childbirth and lactation, all of that. So she actually explained how to hold a child and how to put my breast and all of that. So I think there are better ways of doing it. You don't just hold a child and put your breast. You know, just I think there's a way of doing it. I don't know how to explain it without showing, but yeah.
I wish we had something to illustrate here. That'd be great. Maybe for another time.
Yeah, sure.
Melvins, what about you?
You know, like I said, I come from a family where I have so many sisters, and I've had to, you know, witness them breastfeed their own babies. So I think it was not that challenging. You know, I was already told on how to let the baby latch well on my nipple. And for somebody like me who has big breast, you know, some women are fond of putting the breast in the baby's mouth and then they just leave it and they are doing some other thing with their hand. But for somebody who has a heavy chest, you know, you might have to support it so that the weight of your breast doesn't break their lips, because in the long run it will shape their mouth. So you have to support it so that his lips don't have to bear the weight of your heavy breast. So I think And I also knew that, you know, every normal human being, you know, there's a way you have to at least support your head, like tilt your head upward.
Yeah.
Because most women, like, when I tell people that when I wake up in the night to breastfeed, even if it's 10 times, I sit up, and people are like, hey, you get time? And I'm like, I'm conscious of the fact that if you let them sleep and breastfeed, they can develop an ear infection.
Right.
So no matter how sleepy or how tired I am, because I'm conscious of that and the fact that my breasts are heavy, I have to make the effort to sit upright, support my breasts, and let them finish breastfeeding before.
Now that's a mother who takes time to do her research, and she wants to make sure that she's doing things right. Now, from Madame Cameron, the specialist, what's the right way?
I want to congratulate Melvis because she really said the right thing, and that is actually what is supposed to be done. Yeah. So talking about the right things, you know, talking is different of demonstration.
Yes.
I'm just going to try.
Anybody with a stray baby here? Just kidding.
That is when you tell your baby,
Yeah.
if you are going to give him the right breast, you are going to put your baby on the right hand.
Yeah.
Okay. You are going to put your hand along the body side of the baby.
Okay.
Yeah, you hold the baby, you bring the baby closer to you. And you position the neck so that it should not be twisted.
Okay.
Yeah, you bring the baby closer to you, and you take your hand, you cup your breast.
Okay.
It means that these 4 hands are going to be under your breast.
All right.
And this thumb on top the breast.
Okay.
You come closer to the baby's mouth with the reflex, sucking reflex. The baby is going to open his mouth.
Okay.
When the baby is opening the mouth, you put your nipple into the baby's mouth, and you make sure that the nipple enter the mouth plus the areola.
Okay.
The areola is that dark area around the nipple. All of that should enter the baby's mouth.
Okay.
If not, tomorrow you complain about breast pain, cracks or sores on the breast. So when you put like that, you allow the baby to suck. You can suck at least for 15 minutes.
Okay.
After that, you change the other side.
All right.
You give the other side, and when you are done, you don't drag the baby from the mouth. You can use one thumb to push the chin of the baby down,
Okay.
and the nipple will come out.
Wow.
You don't drag the breast as I always see some mothers do.
Yeah.
No, you make like that. You put your thumb under the chin of the baby. He's going to open the mouth. Then you remove the nipple. Now you put your baby and allow him to belch. That is the good way. And added on what Mavis said,
Yeah.
in the night it's always good to get up before breastfeeding your child. Don't lie on the bed and give him the breast, because there are many consequences behind that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And that should continue till the baby is weaned, I imagine.
Sure.
Okay, I'm sure that mothers and breastfeeding mothers are learning something new this afternoon on the diary. Now we're going to continue, and this is an awkward question, but a valid question, I think. Can a woman breastfeed another's baby?
It's possible.
Okay.
It's possible, but we need to have a series of tests done to that person, that lady.
Right.
Because there are many infections that can pass through the breast milk. Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's good to learn that. Now, let me come back to you ladies. You informed us, or you told us, Rena, that you breastfed your little baby girl exclusively for 6 months.
Yes.
It's not easy, is it?
Not at all.
So, what challenges did you have to deal with?
At the beginning, I mean, as a new mom, I suffered a bit of sore nipple at the beginning, because I think I didn't really know how to put the nipple into the baby's mouth like she explained. I probably put just the tip of the nipple. And so I ended up with some sores, and it ended for I think lasted for 2 or 3 days, and then I actually learned how to do it well. Okay. So some days when the baby doesn't really eat well, I ended up with engorgement, swollen breast. But when she eats well, you don't end up having that. What else? I think those two are the most
Well, maybe we think about some more in the course of the show.
Yeah, I think those two.
Okay, all right. And Melvis, was it the same for you? First, did you exclusively breastfeed for 6 months?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. What was it like for you? I mean, you already have all the information. It's like
I know, but on the other hand, you know, like most people say it's challenging.
Yeah.
But I think that for me, or to me, since I'm not an employee, I
you
am my
your
own boss.
business, exactly.
So I know, to me, it was the easiest thing. Seriously, I asked, but I don't know how on earth somebody would say exclusive breastfeeding is challenging, because like she said at the beginning, it's less costly, it's safest in terms of sanitation.
Okay.
You know, like with boiling bottles and having to make the formula, you know, let's say you have to feed them in the night. Waking up to go and mix milk and put in the bottles and feed them, to me, is more challenging than just waking up, sitting up and breastfeeding my baby. So since I'm not that busy, to me, I find it now that I'm complementing with food challenging than when I was doing exclusive breastfeeding.
Wow. Okay.
So to me, it was the easiest thing.
Okay, all right. Now, Madam Camden, whether or not women find it challenging, the specialists that you are and others continue to encourage women to exclusively breastfeed their kids for 6 months.
Yeah. It's actually not easy, especially when you are working.
Yeah.
It's not easy. But what we usually advise our women to do is to express the breast milk. You can express the breast milk. In the night, you give only one side to your baby. So you keep another side of the breast to be well collected. Then you wake up early in the morning, you express, you put in the clean container, and you can put in the fridge.
Okay.
Yeah. At least you put the quantity that to satisfy the baby until you come back from work. So when the baby is hungry, you are not at home, they can just take and put in the warm water.
Yeah.
Just to warm it. Then you give to the baby. Yeah, if you do like that, it's another form of exclusively breastfeeding.
Right.
Yeah, because there is not additional food. It's still the breast milk you are giving to the baby. Right. So that is an alternative. If you are not in the house, make sure that you express the milk every morning before you leave, and when you come back, you continue with direct breastfeeding.
Right. Now, I'd like for us to continue with that for a bit. Now, when the woman, the mother extracts the breast and saves it, how long can it stay before it's no longer good for the baby to consume?
I think actually less than 6 hours. You should not go more than 6 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. When you put in the fridge. But there is what they call comment dire, la banque de breast bank.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's that case, maybe you put in the freezer, deep freezer. Yes. If it's there, it can stay for a longer time.
Okay.
Yeah, it can stay for a longer time. But if it's just in the fridge or when it's exposed, it's not good to stay more than 6 hours.
Okay, all right. That's a very helpful information. And now, there are cases where a woman gets pregnant, she gives birth, and she has complete dryness. She does not have any supply of breast milk whatsoever. First, what can be responsible for that kind of situation? Because there are many mothers who are dealing with that today. What could be responsible for that?
You know, the breast milk is being the process of the breast production comes from 2 particular hormones. All right. Yeah, the prolactin and the oxytocin. So if you are not able to produce the breast milk after delivery, it means that we are going to check your prolactin level.
Okay.
Yeah, we are going to check at it. Maybe it's having a problem. Yeah, so that is the first thing to check. And also we need to encourage women to take much fluid.
Yeah, fluids.
Yes, fluid, to take much fluid, any type of fluid. You need to drink much water or take much things with, in fact, the woman need to be well hydrated.
Right.
Yeah, that is the first thing. And also you need to have a good balanced diet.
Okay.
You can eat everything, but you need to be well balanced.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for you ladies, I'm going to come to you right now. Was there anything you did while you were pregnant to prepare for the breast milk? Was there anything in particular? Was it just normal? It turned out great for you?
Like I said, my friend actually, She taught me what she was
What's
taught.
her name? Let's tell her thank you.
Sonia,
Sonia, you did a great job.
Mrs. Sanjay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she taught you.
Yeah, she at the beginning, I think 4 or 5 months, because I told her I was pregnant, and she asked me to start using Vaseline on my nipples to peel the, I don't know, whatever dark thing that was there. And I realized that when I was using it, some black stuff was coming out from me. And when I was like between 6 and 8 months, she asked me to start, I don't know, pulling my nipple. I don't know, to prepare it for breastfeeding. Okay. That when I do that, my body will be ready for the child to pull my nipple. Okay. So I don't know if that actually helped, but yeah, I did that. And she cautioned me on wearing a bra. That I should wear. From the beginning, she asked me to keep wearing my bra even when I'm sleeping. Okay. So, and I think that has helped me greatly. It has really helped, because I don't feel like I've actually breastfed a child for 8 months. I don't feel that way. Okay. Because I had fears of saggy breasts, like we always see women complaining about breastfeeding and then not feeling the or not having.
Hopefully, Madam Camden will explain to us, demystify some of those myths around breastfeeding, and we'll see what is correct and which one is not correct. Okay. Right. And Melvis, did you also do any preparation? Did you do anything in particular?
Preparation with respect to preventing sores. Yes, I did. Like Rena said, you know, from day 1 till birth, I made sure that I had Vaseline, like she said, and shea butter, which I applied every now and then to be able to prevent cracks and sores when I was breastfeeding. But as to what concerns milk production, I just knew that when I give birth, and since I'm eating rightly, like she says, if I'm well hydrated naturally, even if it takes some hours, my breast should start producing milk. Okay,
all right. And is that the right thing to do, Madam Camden? Is that what pregnant women should be doing while they are expecting their babies?
Yeah, as Rena rightly said, that is a good procedure. But there are some controversies within using Vaseline or not using it. All right. Yeah, because before we were encouraging women to use it to moisten the nipple. Yeah. But after that, they said that it was not so good. It was not so good for the breast. So now we are encouraging women to use but warm water to clean the breast and to stimulate, you know, to drag the nipple, as she was explaining. All right. Yes, to prepare baby for breastfeeding. Okay. Yeah. So about Vaseline, some say that we should use, some people say that, some books say that we should not use. Anyway, even if you are using it, make sure that maybe 1 month before delivery, you stop it. Okay. Yeah, you stop it.
All right. Okay. It's always good to have an expert on subjects like this to shed more light for our benefit. Now, when it comes to the breastfeeding proper, how do you know that your baby has had enough? How do you know your baby's full? Because babies can't talk. They can't tell you that, Mommy, that's okay. I've had my full share. So how do you know that you when you were breastfeeding, of course, how did you know? How could you tell that your baby had enough?
My daughter would unlatch naturally when she was full. Okay. And from beginning to end, I think she would just do that.
All right. And how often would you feed her? Like, what frequency?
I really did not, since I'm self-employed and I had all the time to do it, I breastfed her on demand. I did not really think if it's an hour or two. Okay. Whenever she wanted to eat, I was there to feed her.
All right. That's great. And Melvis?
Same thing, like if my baby has had enough, you know, she'll just
let go,
push the nipple out, or there are times, or most often, you know, she will just feed until she sleeps. Okay. And then
that's it.
Release the nipple and you feel like she's no longer sucking.
Okay. And the frequency, did you have any particular method, or was it on demand as well?
No, it was on demand.
Okay. And is that the best way to go about it, Madam Captain?
Yeah, we need to breastfeed the baby on demand, but at least 8 times a day. At least 8 times a day, or every 2 hours. Because there are some baby that can sleep for 4 hours. You not allow the baby to sleep so long without breastfeeding him.
Okay.
Yeah, so at least every 2 hours, or with at least 8 times a day.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, you see, it's not easy to be a mother.
But that's true.
Yeah, it's not easy to breastfeed, huh?
Yeah, sure.
I remember the few times my daughter overslept, my mom asked me to go and I should wake her up and breastfeed her. That is above 2 hours.
All right.
So my mom did that a couple of times, so it's true.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, even I, who's a mother, I'm still learning more about breastfeeding. This is why this show is very important. Now, I'd like for us to talk about the mother, because so far we're talking about the baby, the abilities for the baby, what you should do for the baby. Are there any benefits of breastfeeding for the mother? Are there any? Let me start with you, Madam Camden, since you're the specialist.
For the baby, for the mother, I mean, you have that connection with your baby, as you rightly said, and financially, you don't have to spend anything. Yeah, and what should I say again for the mother? In fact, it's a pleasure. You feel something that you can't explain. When you are holding your baby and you are breastfeeding a baby, you are looking in the eyes, the baby's eyes. You feel good.
Right.
So there is something that you can't explain, and these are some advantages that I can say concerning the mother. Maybe they are
maybe they know. I've heard people say when a woman breastfeeds, she easily loses the weight that she picked up while she was pregnant.
Actually, sorry for that. Yes, when you breastfeed your baby, you lose some calories.
Okay.
Yeah, you lose some calories, and it prevents also ovarian cancer. Yeah, it prevents ovarian cancer and breast cancer also. These are some advantages behind the breastfeeding for the mother.
That's great, and every mother should definitely know that. Now, I'd like for us to talk about some of the myths around breastfeeding. Let me start with something that Rena has mentioned before. Rena, you were saying that many women believe that once they breastfeed, their breasts will no longer be the same. They have saggy breasts. That's what many people say.
Yeah. And I had that fear too. Like, it was always at the back of my mind that am I still going to look like this? But I weaned my daughter at 8 months, 2 weeks.
Okay.
And she's currently 9 months plus. And I don't feel any difference. When I look at my body in the mirror, I don't see any difference compared to when I was, single and I didn't have a child. Yeah. So I don't know if it's a contribution of the fact that I wore a bra from the beginning of my pregnancy to the end and slept with it all the time, and I still do that now.
Okay.
So I don't know if that is the reason, but for me, I don't see any difference.
Okay. And Melvis, did you have the same fear, the same worry?
The truth is, maybe my excitement towards motherhood made me
not bother about that, maybe?
Exactly. But as much as Rena said, everybody wants to look nice, you want to keep your body in shape, and I believe that, like, I don't know, it's my own imagination. Like, I tell my sister every day that this issue of people thinking that breastfeeding, ends you up with saggy breasts. I believe that if you eat well, you're well hydrated, because if you see a starving mom breastfeed, when you look at the breast, it already looks dry, and then the baby has to be pulling, and then at times some people too, just like she says, with the kind of bras they wear, they don't help. Maybe their kind of activities too, like, I believe that the way we carry children in Africa, like, I personally, growing up, I used to do that. We carry them on our back with this our traditional loincloth, and most breastfeeding mothers, they tie it on their breast. I believe that those are some of the things that contribute to you, ending up with a saggy breast. But if you eat well, you hydrate well, and at the time you're breastfeeding, your breast is full, and the baby gets what they get, I don't think that you end up with a saggy breast. That's my belief, though.
Okay.
And I'm just going to add that, like Melvis said, I woke up every night to breastfeed my child. My mom told me that, that she congratulates me because she never did that. Sometimes she had to just remove and give for you to, but I think when you just remove your breast and throw to a child, your breast, since it's producing milk, is going to take the form,
that shape,
you understand. So if you wake up and actually hold your child to breastfeed like I did, it's going to contribute to you regaining your
right. So let's have the final word on this. Does breastfeeding lead to saggy breasts?
Not at all. Not at all. Because you will see some women that have never put to bed. The breasts that have lost weight.
That's
shape.
true. That's true.
Yeah. So with all the explanation of the breastfeeding practice, if you practice it well, you don't have any problem with your breast shape. It's going to keep to maintain the normal shape. And if you avoid lying on the bed, throwing the breast to the baby, or tying this thing as the plain, how do you call it? Wrapper, yes. Tie the cloth and pull the breast down. All those things contribute to your breast to lose its shape.
Right.
So just do the normal practice, breastfeeding practice, and then you maintain your breast in a normal shape.
Right. So that is also some very, very helpful information, because many women fear. That's why some decide I'm not going to breastfeed at all because I don't want to lose the beautiful shape of my breasts. Now, another myth altogether. It is believed, or people say, some women say that, people, not only women, that once a woman is breastfeeding, they should abstain from any kind of sexual activity. Well, they should not have intercourse with their partners, because if they have intercourse with their partners, supposedly something, to affect the health and the well-being of the child. Did you hear about that? Did that bother you?
The breast milk.
And the child might get sick,
malnourished,
to something like that. Did you have the same fear? Have you heard that before, Rena?
I've heard, and I didn't have any fear because I wasn't going to be engaged in any sexual activity as my husband is not around.
Okay.
So, maybe my next child, I'm going to look for more information about such, because
you won't have to look for them. Madam Camden, she'll give us all the information.
Exactly.
And what about you, Melvis?
During my pregnancy, when you're going for follow-ups, and even after having my baby, luckily I go for follow-ups at Mbingo, and when you guys get there, they take time every time to educate you guys, and they tell every woman, whether you had your baby normally or by C-section, after 6 months of having your baby, there is no problem with you having sexual relationship with your husband.
6 months after?
6 weeks. 6 weeks.
Okay.
Sorry. 6 weeks. After 6 weeks of having your baby, you can go on and living your normal life with your husband like you were doing
before.
So, but just like Rena said, I was not even scared to, because my husband is not here, so
stories are almost identical. And their sisters. Just say that. Now, Madam Camden, for those women who are watching us, who are living with their husbands or their partners, and who are maybe going to be mothers soon, or they're already breastfeeding, do they have any reason to bother about having sexual intercourse with their husband while they are breastfeeding?
They don't have any reason to avoid sex while breastfeeding.
Okay.
Yes, actually, as she said, 6 weeks after delivery, you are free to start having your normal sexual activities.
Okay.
It's not going to interfere with your breast milk. No, it does not have anything to do with your breast milk. If you are afraid that your breast milk can reduce, or the flow can reduce, just eat well. Be well hydrated. That is all.
Okay.
Sexual activity does not have anything with your breast flow.
All right.
Yeah. Can I please ask?
Sure. Carry on.
Does it mean that, I'm just asking, I want to know, is it only with your husband or the father of the child, or sexual activity with just any other person will not have anything to do with the baby or the breast milk?
Actually, if it's with your partner, that is normal.
Okay.
But if you are having many other partners, I don't know. to be afraid of some infections. It's always good to protect yourself. But the sexual activities don't have any problem with breast milk.
Okay, in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder where the stories come from, because you know the mothers and the grandmothers will tell you generally if a woman is young and she has a baby and the baby is not doing so well, the comment around is that it's because she's having that's the word. You don't spoil pikin. That you should have waited, but well, we know better. We know better now. This other question I would like to ask. What do you think about breastfeeding in public? I mean, as a mother, sometimes you're in the hospital or you go somewhere with your baby and your baby needs to be fed. And what do you do? How do you feel about it in public? Have you ever, has it happened to you before that you're forced to breastfeed your child in public? And what was the experience like?
I didn't have, for the times that I breastfed my child in public, I didn't have any second thought of who was looking, how they felt about it. My concern was if my child has eaten and if she's satisfied and okay.
Okay. And Melvis?
I think I go with Rena. You know, even though to some extent I had some challenges in that domain with my husband, because he is in a society where they believe that you should not breastfeed in public. You know, at times he will even call, and if I'm breastfeeding in the car, he'll be like, I should get something like a wrap, you know. I'm like, the water is hot. I cannot afford. So, but I believe that as to what concerns that particular domain, it has to do with people's mindset.
Yeah.
You know, people say breastfeeding in public is sexual harassment. You know, I'm one person who doesn't believe in laws, because I believe that once you put a law, you've made room for temptation. Because even in Africa, I don't think that we've known such things like, you know, you see a woman breastfeeding and you feel sexually aroused. You definitely have a problem. You know, even Apostle Paul says in the Bible that I would not have known covetousness unless thou had said, thou shalt not covet. So I believe the moment where you put a law on something, you've actually opened, you know, you've made temptation inevitable. So to me, I don't see why a baby will be hungry. No matter if the baby depends on me for food and I'm in public, I don't see why I'm supposed to deprive her or put myself under discomfort because I have to meet the baby's need. To me, it really doesn't make sense.
Okay, all right. And Madam Camden?
There's no problem of breastfeeding her baby in public.
Okay.
But now it depends on the education. You need to know the type of dresses to put on when you know that you are going to breastfeed your child. You know, you cannot go in the public and you know that you have to breastfeed and you wear this type of dress I'm having now. You have to beg somebody, please open me this zip. You are there removing the breast in the public and putting everything outside. You need to know the type of dresses you are wearing. And in the case that you feel uncomfortable, it's always good to a bit shift a bit or je sais pas, te retirer un peu before you breastfeed your child. Yeah. Because it's not also comfortable to remove the breast in the public like that and be there breastfeeding the baby. Yeah. Yeah, we are African, so yes, but there is actually no problem if you wear at least a type of dresses that will not expose the breast too much.
But this is something that pregnant mothers, first-time mothers should learn about, because sometimes it happens to you unconsciously. You didn't think about it, and all of a sudden you find yourself somewhere with the zipper up here, up to your neck, and you can't help yourself, and your baby is crying, and you need to feed them. So these are the things that I imagine women learn when they go to antenatals and things like that. So they should be educated on this.
Sure, they need to be educated on it.
Right. Now, we're talking about getting the right kind of outfit, wearing the right kind of clothes. How about the right kind of bra? Exactly. Yeah, when you're preparing, you're doing your preparation before the birth of your baby and go to the market, you know, these proposals, these women who deal in, you know, babies and newborns, they sell bras. Okay, this is a special bras. It's easy to unplug and just, you know, breastfeed the baby. Did you have to buy something like that? And was it really helpful? Was it really useful?
I did bought a couple of such, but I found out that they didn't really hold my breast the way I wanted them to. They didn't fit well, and I felt like it was going to I still had the saggy thing in
Yeah.
my mind. So just the fact that it would pull up instead of really like fitting.
Yeah.
I didn't use it too much.
Okay.
I used it only when I was going for my child's vaccine. So it's going to be easier for me to breastfeed her without pulling my breast out and all
Yeah.
that. But most of the times I didn't wear it, especially at home. I had the normal type of bra.
Okay. And Melvis?
I think I bought a couple too, and just like Rena said, I really when I put them on, I really didn't like the shape. You know, those these particular ones that you unplug and just remove your nipple. As much as they say it's strong, but when you wear them, it has a particular shape that it gives your chest that I really didn't like. And so I just went to my normal bras, and I was more comfortable with them because they have this support, this foam a little bit that, you know. So to me, I was more comfortable with those ones. And this other one, there are other ones which you don't really have to open the nipple. They call them mother care as well.
Okay.
They are very strong. They don't have foam. But those ones to me were even more challenging than the normal foamy breast because it's too strong.
Okay.
So at times for you to take out your breast, and it was challenging, and at times it's too tight, and before you know, you start having nerves. So I was comfortable in my normal bras.
Okay. And the specialist, Madam Camden, what would you say on the subject?
Actually, those things are just expensive for nothing. If you can have your normal breast bra that can support your breast, because that is the most important thing. A breast that can support your breast, a bra that can support your breast. That is all. Yeah. Sometimes you go to the market, you buy those things for 5,000, 10,000, just to show up that no, I've put that type of breast on me too. I can put it.
They have even this night wear that they make you buy when you.
It's not very important. Yeah, it's not very important. Just look for a normal bra that can support your breast. Yeah, it's the one that can support your breast. That is very important.
Right.
And that is all.
Right.
I don't really think it's show off for like first time.
You feel like you need it.
Exactly.
You don't know. You think that I'm going to need this thing,
and they tell you that no,
you absolutely need it.
Yeah, you can breastfeed without anybody seeing your breast. And I mean, that was my first time having a child. I'm like, okay, it would be nice for people not to see my.
I do about it. But finally, as you were explaining, sometimes you know it's like instead going up and dragging.
Exactly.
So it's not stable on you.
Look at your chest. You don't understand
the shape of your chest.
You know, it's like some fashion for nursing women. You know, even when you go to the hospital, you know, they always have these. There are particular night wears that they have on, particular bras, and then so when
it's a whole business around it.
That excitement, exactly. You just feel like, okay, this is what they do. This is, and 1 or 2 weeks after you realize that, you know, you
actually
just
did not.
money.
Yeah, you
really
actually
didn't need
did
them.
not. Exactly, you did not need them.
So, Manda, it's not that those things are not good. Yeah, some are actually good, but you need to know the right one. Yeah, you need to know the right one. We are not saying that we should not buy it.
Right.
No. Yeah, just look for the good one and buy it.
Don't get carried away.
Yeah.
Okay. Generally, it's good to have. Now that I'm a mother, I think it's very important to have someone who has gone through the experience. If you're a first-time mother who has gone through the experience to guide you, so you don't go buying unnecessary things and you buy what you really do need. Now, since we're talking about accessories, let's talk about that some more. What do you think about breast pads? Did you ever need to use a breast pad?
I bought, but I didn't need it at any point because I was exclusively breastfeeding and my child needed to eat most of the time.
Okay.
And before I think of using a pad, she's already eating.
Okay.
And I don't need it so.
Okay. What about you, Melvis?
I bought them and I used them at the beginning.
Okay.
Because I really had excessive breast flow and maybe, you know, there's a way female children suck. They breastfeed lesser than the male children.
Okay.
So, and with that, she was lazy. So, very often,
You needed it.
I might even force her. She will just take a little bit and she will fall asleep. And at times, I'll find my dresses being soaked.
Yeah.
So, very often, if I have
It
to
can
go
be
out,
very embarrassing.
yes, when I'm home, I can even bear it a little bit when I'm stepping out.
Yeah.
At that beginning. But after that, I didn't have to use that.
Okay. And would you recommend them, Madam Camden?
There's no problem of using it, especially for these women who leave in the morning and come back in the afternoon. Yeah. Usually during the day, the breast feel very full and starting flowing, so they can use the breast pad. There's no problem.
Okay, are there any particular pads or brands that are good? Can you just use anything? So women just put anything, they cut the cloth and they put what's the best kind of breast pad to use, and what material should it be made from?
Actually, I'm sorry for that. I've not searched because I've never used.
All right.
So for the quality, I don't actually know. But some women can cut napkin. Okay. As far as it's clean, you have never used it. You can cut it and fold it. Okay. You can use it as a breast pad.
All right.
But for the quality in the market, I've not gone through.
All right. Okay.
You just need to do something
from a pharmacy. Yeah. Would be more preferable.
Yeah. You go to the pharmacy. You can have the right one.
That's a very good tip, Rena. Thank you very much. Let's talk about breast pumps. That's another accessory for breastfeeding mothers. For those who work, you know, I had the experience because I was leaving in the morning at 6 and only returned at 4 in the afternoon. So I absolutely needed one. Anybody here ever had to use one?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about it, Rena.
I had one, but I think I used a couple of times. Didn't really work for me because my daughter was really used to breastfeeding like directly.
She didn't like the bottle.
Yes, she didn't like the bottle. We tried to force her a couple of times and she didn't take it.
Okay.
I didn't.
All right.
Because I knew I was going to be available, so I didn't buy it.
Okay, and Madam Kamdem, is that something you've said it's important for women who are working, they should have it. Now, there are two types I discovered. There's what's manual and there's what's electrical, which would you recommend for women? Is there one that is better than the other, or anyone would do the job? And what's the right way to use it?
The manual, okay. The manual, actually, I've never used it, but practically, there's a description on the carton. When you take it, you just put on your breast. Right. You fit it around your breast. And there's a pump there. Yes, when you well fitted, because the breast need to be full. So you just press the pump and there's a cup. There's another part down that collects the breast milk. So as you are pumping, the breast is flowing into the cup. So I think that manual one is good. I've never used the electrical one. Okay.
Yeah. And the hygiene around it is also very important because it could be a ground for infections if it's not properly clean.
You need to clean it as you are cleaning the feeding cup. Okay. You clean and you boil water and you pour it. You cover. Yeah, you boil the water and you pour it.
Sterilize it, basically.
Yeah, the one that I've used, it was a plastic type. Okay. So when you boil your water, you can even put water in the pot and put it there. You boil for some time. Or you boil water and you pour in it. You cover it. Right. No, that would be good for
after every use. So
after every use.
Exactly. You're thinking about the health of your little one. Now, there's this other myth I didn't bring up, but I remembered now, and I'd like for us to talk about it. So people say the bigger the breast, the more milk. The smaller the breast, the smaller the amount of milk. Is it true? Did you feel that because maybe you're not as busty as, say, Melvis, for example, you would have a problem with breastfeeding? Did you feel that way?
I don't think so. My daughter was full every time she breastfed, so I didn't have any. There was no point where I had to look for things to eat or in order to produce more breast milk. So I just drank enough water, ate fruits, and everything was fine.
Right. And Melvin, did you feel like I have nothing to worry about? I've got it all here. Did you feel that way?
That one actually got to me a little because, like you said, I've heard people say most women who have smaller breasts, they have a better breast milk flow than people who are busty.
Oh, okay. So you heard the reverse, actually.
Exactly. Okay. I heard the reverse. So I was conscious because I'm somebody who I even had an alarm on my phone to remind me to keep drinking water so that I would stay hydrated so that she wouldn't starve. But
wow,
throughout my research, I didn't really find something to support that. So I don't really know how true it is.
Okay. So for clarifications.
For clarification, the breast flow or the quantity of milk does not depend on the size on the breast. Okay. You'll see some very small breasts that are flowing even more than the big breast. So the quantity does not depend on the size of the breast.
Okay.
As far as you are well hydrated, your breast will flow.
Okay.
If they are small.
And while we're talking about things that would encourage more supply of breast milk, is there anything, any particular kind of food? You've talked about a balanced diet, but are there any specifics on particular foods and maybe particular vegetables that would encourage more breast milk flow?
I think when you take much fruit, because the fruit are very important, especially carrot and apple.
Okay, carrot and apple.
And apple, yes, it actually helps for the breast to flow well. So when you take the carrot and apple, some other fruit, pawpaw, oranges, yeah, you drink much water. And any type of food that you cook in the house, you just eat normally.
Okay.
Plus vegetable, of course. Yes, all type of vegetables, all type of green.
Right. That's some also very, very helpful information. Now, we're talking about eating habits and breastfeeding. And I have this friend who had this experience. She was trying to lose weight while she was still breastfeeding. She's trying to cut down on what she was consuming, and she got to the point where she was consuming, drinking a particular kind of tea, ginger, garlic, and I think lime, and she had a terrible experience because once she drank the tea that had garlic in it, and she tried breastfeeding her baby, the baby rejected the breast all night, and the baby cried all night. So to say, are there things that we could eat that would cause our babies not to want to breastfeed, would affect our babies' breastfeeding? Are there any things that women, mothers should be careful about eating while they are still breastfeeding?
Well, any things like any ingredient to lose weight is going to affect your baby.
Okay.
Because everything that you are eating passes through breast milk. So we need to avoid that. Okay. Maybe the quantity of garlic she's taking was enough for the baby, because the same quantity you are taking, that is the same quantity your baby is going to receive. So maybe the quantity was enough in the breast and it was désagréable.
Yeah, it was too much.
It was too much for the baby. That's why he was rejected the breast milk.
Okay.
So everything we need to understand that everything you are taking, even beer, if you are taking a cup of beer, know that your baby is going to receive the same cup of beer. Okay. So we need to avoid any excess on everything we are taking.
Right. And while we're on the subject, some people say, mothers, especially mothers and grandmothers, some would say to help the supply of breast milk, the mother should drink plenty of palm wine.
and
yes, Beaufort and Guinness.
And your baby can get drunk from that.
Now, it is funny because, you know, some of our mothers actually did this. I remember seeing aunties doing this, drinking. I mean, you give birth and the first thing is they bring a crate of a particular brand of beer and they say, consume this, is going to help you and your breast flow. Now we are saying categorically to the women who are watching us that it is wrong and it is bad for your baby.
Very bad for your baby.
So what are the disadvantages of drinking while breastfeeding? It's to make it clear, to make it really clear for women watching us out there.
Alcohol, first of all, is not good for our body.
Right.
Especially when you take it in excess. It's not good, and we know all the disadvantages. It can affect your brain. And see the baby that you are having in hands with an immature brain, you're going to traumatize the baby brain. Yeah, tomorrow the baby will just be there, not able to reason well, because when during breastfeeding, you traumatize him with the alcohol. Yeah. So that is something very important that women need to understand. You have your baby, tomorrow you will just be dull, you will not be able to reason well. You ask what happened, you will not remember the alcohol that you were taking when you were breastfeeding the baby. Especially alcohol, that is very dangerous for breastfeeding mother. Okay. So talking just about alcohol is enough. Yeah, it's enough. Women need to avoid it during breastfeeding. Right.
Well, I read somewhere where a group of women were saying that if you're breastfeeding and you want to take alcohol, for example, that if you drink and wait 2 hours, it's okay to breastfeed your kid. How true is that?
Yeah, when you wait 2 hours, the chances is that your body have already le métabolisme a déjà pris place.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe your body have already cleaned it up.
Okay.
But I still believe that there's a small substance that remains, that goes into your breast, and the baby will have it.
I think this is really important.
Because even some drugs, breastfeeding mother, there is a type of drug that you don't need to take.
Okay.
Because it's going to pass through breast milk.
Like what kinds of drugs?
There are many types of drugs.
Okay.
I will not go into this one or that one. The good thing is that if you are breastfeeding and you will go to consultation, you need to talk to your doctor that I'm breastfeeding. Or if I'm pregnant, I need to talk to the doctor that I'm pregnant. Because if you take it, it's going to affect your baby in uterus or your baby in hand. So you need to inform your doctor on anything that you are going to take as medication.
Right. I think this is really, really very important because I've seen pregnant women with bottles of beers. You see pregnant women in nightclubs, in the bars, drinking, you know, just a few months or a few weeks even before they have their baby. You're breastfeeding, there's a bottle of wine you're drinking. People even think that that's what they should come visit you with. They come with drinks for you, you know.
Even really cigarette is not good.
Yeah.
They need to know that it's not good. As you are taking, it's going to affect your baby.
Right.
And we need to put in mind that our baby is so fragile. Everything in him is still immature. As the baby will be growing, that is when his organ, his system, everything is going to be mature.
Right. So
the sensibility is the baby is still very fragile.
Right.
Yeah, to be exposed to certain substances.
Okay. So we're going to make some progress now with this other question. Let me get your opinions before we get Madame Camdem's explanation. Have you ever thought of, you know, what if I'm breastfeeding and I get pregnant? What will I do at that time? And I almost already know what she's going to say. I'm not bothered yet because...
Why? No. It's a very important question, you know. Because I was told by a doctor that I have a system, the kind of system of a woman who can actually get pregnant while breastfeeding. Because I think from the 2nd or 3rd month of having my baby, I was almost menstruating.
Okay.
So she told me that in a situation like that, you can get pregnant at any time, but worst case scenario, I'll have my baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in that case, would you continue breastfeeding the baby who is already there? Would you continue breastfeeding while you're pregnant?
I don't have enough knowledge as of now to say if it's going to be beneficial for my child or not. But in that case, I'm going to talk to a specialist to advise me on what to do if it's healthy for my child or not.
Okay. Ever have to worry about that, Melvis?
Not really, because like I said, when we used to go for follow-ups, you know, they'll tell you how to behave after having a baby, or how to relate with your husband. And first of all, to me, like I said, my husband is not here, and even if that were to be the case, it would have been something I'm looking forward to, so I really didn't have a problem.
She loves motherhood. It's so nice to hear her talk about it the way she talks about it. And of course, Madame Camden, we're going to come to you to find out the real information on the subject. So what happens when a breastfeeding mother gets pregnant? Is it okay for her to continue breastfeeding her baby, or should she stop immediately?
She should not stop.
Oh, okay.
The breast milk is very important for the baby. At least WHO, World Health Organization, said that we should breastfeed up to 2 years. Up to 2 years, can you imagine? But if it happen that you are pregnant while breastfeeding your baby, you can continue breastfeeding your baby.
Okay.
What you need to know is that you need to eat well.
All right.
You need to eat well, and you need to rest also, because you are taking care of 3 people. Yourself, the one in the uterus, and the one in hand. So you need to eat well and try to be in good health.
Okay.
Yeah. So breastfeeding is not. You should not stop breastfeeding. At least you can breastfeed your child up to certain level. If it's before 6 months, you need to try and breastfeed up to 6 months. Now you come in with additional food.
Okay.
From there you can start spacing, breastfeeding, and have some rest.
Right.
To take care of the other baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first time I'm learning that, because I've heard from many people who say once you get pregnant, that's it. It's not good. The baby is going to get sick. The baby might even die. So don't do it. Yeah, women have been told that.
No, they need to know that they need to continue with breastfeeding. Just eat well and everything will be okay.
Right. So while we've been discussing so far, we've talked about women who suffer from sores sometimes, and because they've not learned how to properly breastfeed their children. In that case where you have a sores, or say you feel like there are cuts in there, it hurts, how can they take care of that situation?
It's a bit delicate because it depends on the degree of the sore.
Okay.
It depends on the degree, but if it's just mild, you just need to clean it up with some warm water and clean towel, and you apply anything like
Pomade,
especially I read somewhere they say lanolin.
Okay.
If you go to the pharmacy, they can give you something to apply there.
That.
All right.
Yeah, you apply on it, and each time we usually say that don't avoid giving that breast to the baby. You still need to try and give him. Yeah, so before you give, you just clean.
Okay.
Yes, and to avoid it, sometime when your baby finish sucking, you need to clean the nipple at least. Some women, the baby will just finish sucking, the breast is still wet, with the milk around, they just put on breast. So no, keep your breast dry, and you avoid all those things.
Okay.
So when you're having it, don't say that, oh, this baby, she cannot even touch this one again. Just clean it. And if it's a bit more crack, you apply that lanolin there, or any type of ointment to reduce, to heal the sores. Yeah. After that, when you want to give to your baby, you just clean it up and you give. Okay.
And Rena, there's something you wanted to find out more on the subject.
No, she said something about not avoiding that breast. When I had the sore, especially on my right breast, I gave more of this to my daughter and ended up having more breast milk produced on the left side than the right. And I had to do some research on Google to learn how to ameliorate the situation. So I was asked to give to pump. I think I used the breast pump to pump this more, and then when it was almost balanced, I gave more of this. More of the one I avoided the first time, and then after like 2 weeks, I got the balance.
Okay.
Yeah, because as the baby is sucking,
it's producing more.
Yeah, it's normal.
Wow. All the technicalities of breastfeeding, and people think you just put the nipple in the baby's mouth and that's it. There's so much that goes around it. Now, after many months, sometimes even a year or more of breastfeeding, the mother starts thinking about winning the baby. When is the best time to win the baby? Did you ever have any idea, Melvis? Did you ever think of a particular time when you would win your baby? First, have you already win your baby, or you're still going to do? Okay. Till what time? How far?
1 year.
Okay, 1 year. And Rena, I know you already win your baby.
Yeah.
And after 8 months?
8 months, 2 weeks.
Right. So is that a perfect time to win the baby?
WHO said that
2 years. Oh, right. 2 years. 2 years. That's true.
Yeah.
2 years.
2 years.
It's an adult teeth.
It's not easy.
It's not easy at all. I mean, mothers definitely understand what we're talking about.
It's a little bit weird because, like, somebody like me, before I had my baby, I had it in my mind that I'll win her at 8 months.
Okay.
And when it was getting towards that time, my husband was like, just let her have it for 1 year and then you can be free. And when I talked with a few people, they were like, even if you have to do it early, the best method is to let your baby walk first.
Okay.
And just like she's laughing, my baby, she's trying to talk.
Okay.
She walks around the house, she will call mama, she calls people, and then when she wants to breastfeed, I'm like, when I carry her to breastfeed her, it's just like I feel like she's already too old. And I tried to figure out how my mom did it for 2 years, because they used to tell us that we used to breastfeed for 2 years.
Yeah, we all did, but we don't want to do that.
I already feel like she's already too big. But
yeah.
I'm desperate to see her work, and since I know the advantages of breastfeeding, I'm ready to sacrifice for her.
Right. Now, there's also a methodology that goes into winning a baby. Using my experience, I tried a couple of times and failed. The first day, second day, and then third day, I went back to breastfeeding the baby because, well, the baby was crying and I could not bear to see my baby crying. So what's the method? What method did you use? Did you just stop one day, or was it progressive? How did you go about it, Rena?
It was progressive. I reduced how many times I breastfed her. I think the first day I only breastfed her early in the morning before giving her food, and then in the afternoon and evening like 3 times instead of like 4 or 5 times. And then the second day I reduced, I think morning and night when she wakes up. And then I think I progressed to just giving in the morning. At night I gave her water. I made sure she ate well before going to bed, and then when she woke up to eat, I gave her water instead. The first night I gave water, she didn't have fun with, like, she cried for like 30 minutes. So I decided to make small food for her to eat. I didn't give her the breast milk. I made food and she ate and slept. And the next day, I think I didn't give her in the morning. I gave her food in the morning, and that was how she forgot about it. She didn't cry.
Wow.
I actually had luck. She didn't
The
cry.
system, you had a good strategy.
Yeah.
You decide that just in the evening she'll have the breast only in the evening, or only in the morning. When you make like that, the next day you start to skip the one for morning. You give only in the evening. As far as you are doing like that, she'll forget about the breast.
But it wasn't easy. Though.
Yeah, the baby will cry, but you need to discipline her.
She wasn't crying, but you feel like she's detached from you.
Yeah, you
like
feel you're breaking.
Exactly.
It's like a separation.
It's a separation.
Yeah, it's very sad and very emotional. Like an emotional moment for the mother.
Yeah. I was actually I felt like continuing to a year, and my mom-in-law helped me so much. She told me that she understands how I feel, but if I really want to do this, I have to stop giving her just the way I explained. So she said when she wakes up in the morning, I mean, she'll literally be in my room waiting for us to wake up. She'll wake up before us, and she'll be like, "You know, give her now." give her water. And then before I know it, she has already made food for the baby, and you know, the baby eats, and then she'll ask me to stroll outside while she's giving food to the baby. So she helped me a lot, my mom-in-law.
Yeah, because more to that, you the mother, you have some pains on your breast. So it's both sides. As the baby is suffering, you are suffering with
and how to deal with that, because you go for a number of days where your breast can be as hard as stone and it's painful. How should mothers deal with that situation, that uncomfortable situation? Is there a way of making it better?
I didn't feel that. I don't know why.
Okay, nothing at all.
I actually waited for like 2 days thinking it's going to happen after. And I kept touching my breast. I didn't feel it. I just felt a small part of my left breast, which produced more milk. A left part, I think a small part of it was hard. And after like 2 days, I didn't feel it, no pain, nothing. And I called my mom and asked her if it was normal, if I should go to the hospital. She said it was normal. I'm lucky.
Okay.
Yeah,
so apparently it differs from woman to woman. Some women, it gets really hard, it's painful. They need to wear breast pads because their breast will be leaking and all. So what's the best way to manage for those women who have a more severe experience? What's the best way to manage it?
You can apply some cold compress there.
Okay.
Yeah, you apply some cold compress there. It's going to
maybe ice or something.
The ice, yes. If anything cold, you apply there, it's going to reduce the pains. Okay. But in the case that the breast milk is flowing much, you can consult a doctor for medication to be prescribed.
Yeah. And for those who feel the pain, generally, what's the normal amount of time it should last? For how long should a woman feel pain?
On the breast.
Yes, when you win your baby.
You know, pains differ from one person to another.
Right.
Yes, but I think that if it goes for days, you need to you need to consult.
Okay.
And they can equally take paracetamol.
Okay.
Yeah,
as a painkiller.
paracetamol, yeah, as painkiller is going to reduce the pains.
Wow. Okay. That's some great information. We have learned so much today about breastfeeding. I'm hoping that especially the soon-to-be mothers have picked something, and it's going to help them prepare more. On the subject, summarily, if you were to give advice on a woman who's going to have a baby concerning breastfeeding, what is it you tell them? What advice would you give a young woman who is going to give birth in a few months about breastfeeding? What would you say? I mean, summarily, from everything we've learned.
Okay, it's not as painful as we think, because I mean, a few people told me that breastfeeding is so difficult, but I didn't feel that. It's not as painful. And if you're afraid that your breasts are going to be saggy, that is a myth. That is not true.
Right.
Yeah, it's not true. You just have to take good care of your breast. Follow how the best ways of breastfeeding your child. Make sure to always sit up, right, and the best postures possible to breastfeed your child. Try to always be hydrated, drink enough water and eat fruits, in order to have constant production of milk. And have fun.
Okay.
Don't always be tensed. Yeah, always just try to be calm and you enjoy it.
All right. Anything to add to that, Melvis?
Yeah, I just want to advise anyone who is looking forward to motherhood, to say motherhood is fun-filled than it's been presented to us. And I want to say most of the myths that, thanks to, with the help of the specialists, we've been able to demystify. Most of those things are as a result of a poor self-image and body shaming.
Yeah.
So rather than focusing on not breastfeeding and punishing your baby and yourself, focus on the right thing, develop the right self-image. And secondly, when I look at the society and how people relate, I think that the effortless relationship that mothers have with their children as a result of that breastfeeding is priceless. So when you look at that, that's what even gives mothers advantages over fathers. There is that natural bond, that effortless bond that mothers have with their children, which fathers don't have. And breastfeeding contributes so much to that. So I think that should not be compromised for anything. It's fun. Look forward to it with so much excitement.
Thank you very much, Melvis. And would you have anything else to add to that when I come there? They've said so much already.
In fact, it was a good complementary discussion. To add to that is just to encourage our ladies to put on good bra. That is very important before delivery, or even when you are planning to be pregnant. You need to use good bra. It's going to keep your breast shape intact. It will not go anywhere. You will remain there as it was before when you were young. So don't be afraid of breastfeeding your child. Breastfeed your child. Put on good bra and practice the good. Follow the good steps of breastfeeding, and everything will be okay. You are going to enjoy breastfeeding. You will have more advantages for your baby, for yourself, and for your family.
That implies that Rina is indebted to Sonia.
Yeah,
exactly.
We all have been.
Exactly. And it's economical. It's relatively cheap.
Yeah, sure. It's very cheap actually, because you don't have to buy formula milk and all that. And much healthier.
And physically, you don't have too much work as compared to when you start supplementing and adding things.
Now, this question just came into my mind right now. When you wean your child, should you just move on to real food, or is it okay to start giving them a formula milk?
No, when you wean your child, you can just start with liquid food. Okay. Because breast milk was already enough for him. Right. When you, after 6 months, you don't go into formula milk again. You go in for pap. Okay. You go in for light food. Right. You go in for anything light that the baby can take. That is okay.
There's also this thing I noticed some mothers do. They breastfeed and give formula milk at the same time.
No, that is mixed feeding. It's not good. Okay. You are exposing your baby more to infection. Wow. Either you choose one, or you don't mix. Yeah.
You either give strictly formula milk or you breastfeed. So you don't mix the two.
Normally
this is really
it's not,
important.
actually.
Women think that it's normal. I see lots of mothers doing it.
Actually, it's not good. You are going to cause some digestion trouble to your baby.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
All
not
right.
good.
All right, that's really good to know. I'm sure that women watching us are going to appreciate it. And one more question. Well, not one more. So we have a few before we go. Is there a difference, physical, or we've talked about it a little bit, but to be more concrete, between children who are breastfed and those that aren't? Well, what are the differences between children like that, kids like that?
I've not done experience, but I know that they say that children that have been breastfed, they are more intelligent than those who have not been
breastfed. Okay.
Yeah, so that is one advantage is that I know that I read in the book.
Okay.
Practically, I've not done any study. Yeah, so the IQ, the intelligence level is more higher than those who have not been breastfed.
Okay.
But la règle n'exclut pas l'exception.
So it's an exception to the rule. Yeah.
There's some difference, but that is what the book says.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
After talking to a few or knowing some few people who actually did not breastfeed, I think children who don't breastfeed are more fragile.
Sure.
Even when you go for vaccine.
Yeah.
The difference is actually clear, and you actually see the ladies doing the vaccines talking to women like, this child is like this because you didn't breastfeed the child and all that. They're actually fragile.
Yeah, I explained it right at the beginning. Yeah. Because when you breastfeed your child, you give him more antibodies, you give him more in fact, immunization.
Exactly.
Yeah, it grows up very strong, more than the baby or the child that have been breastfed by formula.
Yeah,
I think that it really worked because like after having my baby, people have this idea of saying, if you must sleep with the fan, like for example, I use the fan, that if you must sleep with the fan on, don't put it directly on the baby, put it on the wall, and then because if you put it directly on the baby, maybe she might end up with a cold.
Yeah.
But funny enough, I have a baby who, I don't know, she feels a lot of heat. Nothing will cover her. She will not even dress warm, even when it's raining. If you dress her warm, she will just be sweating. So I had to put, my fan doesn't even rotate. I just put it on myself and her, and we will sleep with it till dawn. But the only day she has, had temperature was when she had her first vaccination.
Yeah.
Even she has never had a cold, no fever, nothing. She's strong. She has never taken any medication of any type. And even when I went for her first vaccination, people were like, when you come back, she will develop temperature. You could go get ibuprofen or something. But thank God to Mbingo, they keep telling you, no matter how hot your baby is, just undress them, soak something, wipe them, don't give them anything because their system is still too small, too young to accommodate those medications. And I did that, and after that my baby has never been sick.
Right.
And I believe that is as a result of that exclusive breastfeeding.
Yeah, I agree. And about exclusively breastfeeding, now babies that are exclusively breastfed sometimes turn out to look really very big at a young age.
Very bulky.
They are very big, extra big. Madam Camden, is it because of the breast milk and?
But it's because of the breast milk, but it depends on the
frequency.
Ça dépend aussi ça dépend de l'hérédité dans la famille.
Okay.
Yes, some are very strong, but they're not too big. But they are very strong.
Once I saw a baby,
they are very small but very strong.
Once I saw a baby that is exclusively breastfed, and the baby was like the little baby giant.
And I'm thinking that those who are being breastfed by formula, they are gaining more weight.
They have more weight.
Okay.
That's what
I've seen the cases of, I've seen like 2 or 3 of kids who are exclusively breastfed, and they are.
No, usually they are just
little baby giants.
Yeah. This is from their parents.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually they're more stronger, not large in size.
Okay. All right. Well, we've heard from the expert. Now, one question before we go. Is breast milk good for the father? Just a fun question, eh? I'm sure
ladies can answer that because
I'm sure that the fathers are happy to hear this question.
I nearly talk about it.
Tell. I mean, from research online, it's okay. I saw that it was okay for you to breastfeed your husband. That is if he wants to test the baby's milk. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how I would feel about it. I don't know. Maybe when I get to that bridge, I'll cross it. But for now, I don't know.
Just like when I said, from research, I read that it was normal if your husband is willing to. And there was also another documentary that I saw, you know, these bodybuilders buying breast milk, very expensive to be taking.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They said it was very useful to them. Most these bodybuilders, you know, they buy very expensive. So I don't know. But I believe that if they say it's okay if your husband wants to breastfeed, it means that it's healthy, it's not poisonous, it's not a problem. Just like when I say
it contains enough of protein, so that's
so it's good.
But actually, I can't encourage a woman to allow her husband to suck her breast while breastfeeding. Yeah, frankly speaking, it's not proper.
All right. So while the mother is breastfeeding, the father has to understand that, you know, the property is not his for a couple of months. Okay. Until when the baby lets go, then you can come claim back what's yours.
Because I read somewhere that some women feel sexually aroused when breastfeeding.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard people say that before.
And, that didn't happen to me.
Yeah.
But I think that if the father joins the child in breastfeeding, that could happen because the connection a mother has with her man is different when it comes to him touching the breast. So if you have to start doing that with my breast when I'm breastfeeding, it's very possible for that to happen when the baby is breastfeeding. So I think it's not advisable for the father to do that.
But that's a strange feeling to get aroused when you're breastfeeding. Yes, your baby.
It depends. It's the system because everything goes from the mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a stimulation. It's the same if when your baby is breastfeeding is stimulating your nipple. It's the same thing when your husband is stimulating your breast. So everything goes from the mind.
Let's keep our minds in the right places.
So I think that this should just stay off for the meantime.
All right. If that works for you, well, great. Well, ladies, thank you all so much. We've had a great show. It's been very educative, very enlightening. I'm sure that the ladies who watched us today have learned a whole lot. And so I'm really, really very grateful for sharing your experiences with us and Madam Camden for all the clarifications that you've given us. But before we go, I'd like to talk about my guest. So, you know, for a minute or two before we end the show. Now, Rena Ngunje is she's a businesswoman. She's a fitness coach. You see, she has a baby, 9 months old, and she's already looking like this. So she's a fitness coach, and she also runs. I
have a Renash Waist Cincher, and more products to help lose weight are going to be coming soon to the brand. So you can check me on Facebook and Instagram at Renash Waist Cincher. I have a personal page, or on Facebook and Instagram too, Rain and Go.
Okay, so please contact her for those of you looking to lose weight around your tummy and to clinch your waist and make it smaller. She's the person you should definitely get in touch with. Another entrepreneur is here, Achu Melvis. You too are your businesswoman.
Yeah, but I really don't talk about the business a lot because I have a newfound passion that it's my major concern. I'm a mind builder. And I'm also working on educating African women. So that is my focus. And I've been a victim of religion. So as a result of that, I developed this passion to be a coach and a mind builder. You know, to be able to get people thinking rightly, to be able to act right and not be victims like I was, you know, confusing Christianity with religion. I lived in bondage for very long, and that's my vision, to be able to help others, you know.
So do you organize seminars or?
Yeah, I do. There was even a time I I used to teach on air in Bamenda, like the DEFCAM radio, CGR.
Right.
Yes, when I was in Bamenda, I used to do, we had a program on it for like 2 years. And I even used to do Facebook live shows, but for now, I kind of stopped because I'm focusing on motherhood.
Yeah, this new amazing role.
When I settle, that is my major vision. That's my major passion.
Okay, and you can get in touch with Melvis on Facebook as well. What's the account name on Facebook?
No, I don't have a page yet. It's my Facebook name is just Achu Melvis.
Okay. Achu Melvis, so reach out to her on Facebook and you can get into a conversation. And well, Madam Kamdem, who is from the Mbopi Baptist Hospital, we are always so grateful with the collaboration so far between the diary and the Mbopi Baptist Hospital, always willing to help out with someone. And Madam Kamdem, you in particular, you make out time to be able to come here. It's not easy for someone who works in a hospital.
Sure.
So we are really grateful.
Thank you.
And for those of you who might want to continue the conversation with Madam Kamdem, if you have personal questions you'd love for her to help out with answers to, you can simply go to the Baptist Hospital and Bopi here in Douala and reach out to her, or on Facebook?
On Facebook, Salome Kamdem.
All right.
So discuss there.
Right. So go to Facebook, look for Salome Kamdem, send her a message and she'll be glad to help you. Well, thank you once again. That's it for today. Come back next week for more exciting discussions. Have a great weekend and take care. Bye-bye.
That was great.